All right, today we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the ocean to find one of nature's most mind-bending secrets. We're talking about a creature that has basically found a cheat code for life and death itself.
You know, it's a question we've all wondered about, right? Can anything actually live forever? I mean, everything we see has a life cycle. You're born, you grow up, and eventually you die. Seems pretty set in stone. But what if it wasn't? What if there's a creature out there that can just hit rewind on its own life?
Okay, so take a look at this guy. This is a pretty standard jellyfish, Turritopsis rubra. And its life story is exactly what you'd expect. It starts as a little polyp, grows up into the jellyfish we all recognize, it reproduces, and then, well, that's the end of the road. It dies. That's the normal playbook for pretty much everything on Earth.
But then you meet its cousin, Turritopsis dorni. And this is where things get wild. This little jellyfish can do something that sounds like science fiction. If it gets stressed out or injured or even just gets old, it can reverse its entire life cycle. It becomes biologically immortal. It doesn't just patch itself up, it literally becomes a baby again.
So, the big question is, how on earth does it do that? Well, scientists got clever. They decided to play detective by comparing the DNA of our immortal jellyfish with its totally mortal cousin. The idea was simple. If we can spot the differences in their genetic code, we might just find the secret to its immortality.
And this right here shows you everything. On the left, that's the mortal jellyfish. See? It's a straight line from birth to death. But now look at the right. See those arrows looping back around? That's the game changer. The adult jellyfish can turn right back into a polyp, its baby form, and just start over. And it can do this again and again and again.
Okay, so how is this even possible? It's not magic, it's all in the genes. You can think of the immortal jellyfish as having this special genetic toolkit that lets it cheat the aging process. So, let's pop open that toolkit and see what's inside, shall we?
First, we need to understand a basic concept about aging. One of the biggest reasons we get old is something called genomic instability. Just imagine your DNA is a giant instruction manual for your body. Over your lifetime, that manual collects little typos and errors. Eventually, there are so many errors that things just stop working right. That's aging in a nutshell.
So, tool number one in the jellyfish's immortality kit, it's basically a superpowered DNA repair crew. This thing is just way better at protecting its genetic instruction manual from getting those typos in the first place. It's like it has an army of elite editors keeping its DNA code absolutely perfect.
And this is where you can actually see the difference. Check out these numbers. For a really important gene for copying DNA, the immortal jellyfish has 4 copies. Its mortal cousin, just 1. And you see the same pattern for the repair genes. It's got double the firepower. Having more copies is like having more repair workers on call 24/7 to fix any damage instantly.
All right, tool number 2. This one is all about protecting the tips of our chromosomes. These things are called telomeres, and they're super important. They're like little protective caps that stop our DNA from fraying.
The best way to think about this is like the little plastic tips on your shoelaces. You know the aglets? They stop the lace from coming apart. Well, telomeres do the same thing for our chromosomes. Every time our cells divide, those tips get a little bit shorter, a little more frayed. But our immortal jellyfish? It's got a top-of-the-line system for keeping those telomeres long and strong, basically forever.
Okay, on to tool number 3, dealing with stress. And I'm not talking about work deadlines, I mean cellular stress. Just the act of living creates these damaging little molecules inside our cells. It's called oxidative stress. And the immortal jellyfish has a seriously powerful shield to protect itself from that damage.
And again, just look at the evidence right here. The immortal jellyfish is stacked with antioxidant genes. It's got more than double the copies of one gene and double the copies of another compared to its mortal relative. It's like one has a regular security guard and the other has an entire special forces team protecting its cells.
So we've seen the toolkit, right? Incredible DNA repair, chromosome protection, a super shield against stress. But how does it all come together to actually turn back the clock? This, my friends, is the main event. Let's talk about the cellular factory reset.
So here's what it actually looks like. The adult jellyfish gets stressed and it just sort of collapses in on itself. It becomes this little blob, a cyst. But then, from that blob, a new little stalk starts to grow. And off of that stalk, brand new baby jellyfish, the polyps, start to bud. It is a literal physical rebirth. It's incredible.
But the real magic is happening at the genetic level.
As it turns into that little blob, it starts shutting things down. It systematically turns off all the genes that say, I am a mature adult jellyfish. It's like it's wiping its own hard drive, deleting the adult software.
And then, at the exact same moment, it does something even crazier. It flips a switch and turns on a bunch of genes for what's called pluripotency. That's a fancy word for telling its cells, hey, you're not a muscle cell anymore, you're not a nerve cell, you're a stem cell now. You can become anything. And from that blank slate, it builds a brand new, young body. It's the ultimate reset.
Okay, so this is all super cool, but why should we care about a tiny jellyfish? What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that this creature completely flips the script on what we thought we knew about aging, and it has some pretty big lessons for all of us.
For one, it proves that aging isn't always a one-way street. That's huge. It hammers home just how critical DNA repair is for a long life. And maybe, most exciting, it shows us the incredible power of cellular reprogramming, that idea of turning cells back into stem cells. That could be a massive key for regenerative medicine down the road.
So this one little animal proves that the rules of aging can, in fact, be broken. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What other amazing secrets, what other ways to cheat death are still out there in the natural world just waiting for us to find them?